Okay, so we're live now. Does everyone want to introduce their names, their channels, and their pronouns?
You first,
Mayana.
Okay, so my name is Mayana, my channel is Mayana Reads, and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Haley, my channel is Pages of Haley, and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Zoe, and my channel is Zoe's All Booked, and my pronouns are also she and her.
I am Jessie. I am from Bowties and Books. My pronouns are they, them.
Hi, I'm Tahira from the channel Sincerely Tahiri, and my pronouns are she and her.
Okay, so does someone want to tell, like, the audience what the book is about? Because I need to tweet that we're live and stuff. So.
Ooh. I don't even know if I can give a good synopsis because this book is fucking complex.
It is. We can always read the synopsis.
Okay.
That's probably for the best.
Period.
Yes. Allow me. Okay, so please kill me. All right. For Malik, the Solstasia Festival is a chance to escape his war-stricken home and start a new life with his sisters in the prosperous desert city of Zaran. But when a vengeful spirit abducts Malik's younger sister Nadia, as payment to enter the city, Malik strikes a fatal deal. Kill Karina, crown princess of Zaran, in exchange for Nadia's freedom. But Karina has deadly aspirations of her own. Her mother, the Sultana, has been assassinated. Her court threatens mutiny, and Solstasia looms like a knife over her neck. Grief-stricken, Karina decides to resurrect her mother through ancient magic, requiring the beating heart of a king. And she knows just how to obtain one by offering her hand in marriage to the victor of the Solstasia competition. So when Malik rigs his way into the contest, he and Karina are set on a heart-pounding course to destroy each other. But as attraction flares between them and ancient evils stir, will they be able to see their tasks to the death?
That was beautiful.
So here's the real question. How do you feel about narrating every audiobook ever? I vote yes. I vote
yes.
I can't.
Nobody wants that. Okay. I can't because I will be I'll be in it and then reading and then I will react as an actual person. So I'll be like, he said what?
Fantastic.
Hell nah.
You know how much I would love that?
That would be amazing.
I have too many, I can't control my attitude and that would show up in the narration. So nobody.
I think this is a problem.
So does everyone just want to give their rating and then just a brief description, brief reason why before we get too in depth about why we gave that rating?
Word. Yeah, I'll start. I assigned A Song of Wraiths and Ruin 4.5 out of 5 stars. I love the ground that this book walks on. However, there were just a few things about the plot, convenience-wise, that I just could not suspend my disbelief. I was like, bruh.
Very bad.
Bruh. So 4.5 stars.
I'll go next. I gave A Song of Wraiths and Ruin 4 stars. It was a 3 for majority of the story until I got to literally the last 5 to 8 chapters. Very similar to what Jessie said. I just felt it was okay, I read this story before. Things are very familiar. And then it wasn't until I felt the author twisted those tropes on its head that I was okay, this is good. It was okay, but not this is cute. And I'm excited for the next one. But yeah, I definitely agree that there were some things that was very predictable. But I loved Malik. I loved the depictions of his anxiety. It was just amazing. Malik was done with so much class. I love that.
Yeah. I didn't like the book. I felt I wanted to be here on a live stream. I didn't want to, disappoint anyone. So I was kind of forcing myself to read. And I still liked it. I really enjoyed it. It's not a lower. I just didn't want to rate it and give it 3 stars. And that's not what the author deserves. So I didn't want to give the author something based off I just wasn't in the mood for it. I still really liked it. I loved Malik. He was my favorite character. It's just I wasn't feeling in the mood. So I was looking at things that I didn't enjoy more, and I didn't.
I gave the book a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really, really loved it. Like the world building from the very beginning, it was so strong for me. And I just love lore in fantasy books. So like hearing about like where the gods and the magic came from, like that was my favorite part of the whole book. And I also really love the characters. And like for the first time in my life, I was wishing that there was going to be no romance in fantasy. Obviously, I knew there was going to be romance, but like for this one, I was like, the plot was so strong. I was like, there doesn't need to be romance. And I really didn't like the way the romance was done. So that kind of like ruined it a little bit for me.
No
but
one asked for it.
yeah. But
yeah. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I think mostly because it's been a long time since I've read a young adult fantasy that I didn't hate within the first 30 pages. So I was very excited. And like, I didn't hate the way the romance was because it didn't feel like it took over the entire story. And I'm curious to see the way it's going to go in the other books. So I'm just, it wasn't like the be all and end all of the entire story. Like, and like you guys are saying, I loved his, the portrayals of his anxiety. It felt very real and not like it was just there to be there, which I thought was really interesting.
It seems like everybody in the comments also gave it like the rating looks like a 3 to 4.5. That's like the average, which is great. I love that. Very different from Such a Fun Age.
Such a Fun Age was like everywhere. I feel like everyone is agreeing. Like I seen the comments, somebody was saying that they agree with you, Tier. Like a couple of people were like agreeing.
Yeah, I gave that book a 2.
No, I meant with this book. I'm saying like
a 2 star, like 1, 2.
Like internally it was a 2, but same thing like what Mayana said. I'm not going to put it on the thing because I know that I gave it a 2 just because I didn't enjoy it, but I know that my enjoyment was not the point of like the story. So it was like, it's fine. But yeah, I think the ending really saved it for me. In regards to the romance, I didn't necessarily feel like it was necessary, especially because the stakes were so high. I was like, okay, like Karina's looking like trying to do something, and then Malik is trying to do something, and I'm like, y'all are both trying to accomplish these goals, and the stakes are super high for both of them. Like I would have loved for them to just like team up, as even though obviously it didn't make sense in regards to Malik's point of view, like in some sort of way I would have rather them either be like real enemies or really homies. You know, the romance kind of was just like really in the midst of.
She didn't even know man's name until like the last 7%.
No.
Yes.
I didn't realize she didn't know his name until he was like Malik, and she was like, "Who?" I was like, "Not this."
I was shipping her in the whole book though. I was like, okay, I live. But yeah, I definitely just felt like it was like, it was cute. It was a little convenient. I didn't hate it because like Zoe said, it was a majority of even the book. It really wasn't a thing in the last couple of pages. But another thing I really liked about Malik was that in regards to like anxiety, it also showed how that stemmed into self-harm for him in a way that had nothing really to do with like suicidal ideation, which is like, something you really don't see about in books. And it's something I definitely related to because it's somebody that deals with anxiety that like feels that just so much pent up emotion and just trying to get it out, not necessarily even trying to like harm yourself. Like that's just like the details of it all was so like, I was like, oh, this is good. Like, you know, talking about this
like
is
when you say put it on that way, I really related to Malik's character, and I just loved that he was just like a soft boy, like he was just that.
Yes,
like I just loved him and how much he cared for his sisters, and just I feel like Karina's character wasn't displayed in the same way. Like we knew she loved her mom, but it just wasn't as strong as like how Malik felt for his sister Nadia, and it's like the characters weren't written like as strong as like, you know, each other.
Okay, question before we continue. Are we getting spoilery right now? Should we announce this?
Oh, I'm trying not to.
Yeah, I know a couple of people like didn't read the book but still want to watch the live show. So
yeah,
skirt around it.
Yeah. Say it without saying it, but say it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, word.
I'm really curious to see how the second book is going to change what we know from the first book. Like when I fantasy is my favorite genre, and I tend to not like the first book as much as the rest of the series. Like I love the setup, but I'm here for the end game. So I'm really curious to see if that romance is going to be endgame. I'm not, because it was set up in such a weird way. I don't know. Like, I'll be happy if they end up hating each other completely. And it's like, like the author was toying with us, being like, oh, it's going to be like a romance because every YA needs a romance, apparently.
Like in Children of Blood and Bone. I was like, oh, I love that. Oh, when Tommy did that, I said, yes, we don't want them together anyway.
So I don't know. Like, I'm really hoping that it's just a big setup to be like, ha, fuck you guys. It's not going to happen like that. Like, I'm being optimistic here. It's October. I'm happy. I don't want to be negative about it.
So one person says in the comments, the way the comments already got into spoilers, so close the chat to the people who still need to finish. So I'm just sharing that verbally.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there are already some spoilers in there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can close the chat, but like if you can close the chat, like, you know.
I think it's just like they're trying to say like, hey, people who are watching, who haven't finished, like, don't read all the comments if they don't want spoilers. You know. Okay, I have an inquiry for the group because like this is my burning question.
Okay.
My burning question is, did any of y'all, again, without getting into spoilers, was I the only one who felt like it was quite obvious early on?
Yes.
Okay, right? Okay.
I thought it was gonna be who it was, like, but then when
the villain of the story. Okay, right?
I was like, why? I was like, why are they right next to Karina? I was like, is this you? This ain't you. I was like, this is like, whoa, literally, this ain't you.
This person. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah. But I didn't know that it ended up being the way.
It was so obvious. Haley, what about you? Like, were you also
at the very beginning? I had an idea but I was telling myself in my head, I was like, there's no way she's gonna make it this obvious. Like it happened. And then at the end, I was like, I freaking knew it. Like I knew it, but I don't know. It still wasn't that disappointing to me because sometimes I like predicting things, and there were other things going on that I thought was like really cool. But did I think that the ending happened like kind of quickly, like too fast?
Yeah.
The comments are saying the same thing. Like I was like, it won't be that person. It's too obvious. Like I saw it coming. You know.
I knew it was gonna be that person, but I wasn't sure it was gonna be the way it happened. I thought it was gonna happen in a different.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
She flipped it though. That's why I liked it, because then once it got revealed who it was, I was like, child, anyway. But then I was like, what they doing?
Right.
What are they talking about? I said, no, not Tunde. What? Hello.
Not Tuesday, no.
I literally remember, like, I'm listening to the audiobook, which if anybody listens to the audiobook for both of them were phenomenal. But for Karina, like, sis was really giving you accents. She was giving you she was acting her ass off for the audiobook. I was like, yes. But I literally remember just in that moment being like, what the hell? I thought it was, you already decided that it was going to be this. And then they were like, he's there doing X, Y, and Z. I'm like,
right. And then I was like, oh, you too? And then I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, cool. I was like annoyed. That was one of my biggest gripes with the story. I was like, I know we're not. But like, here's the thing about the book that I found was both its strength and its weakness was that, and this is like what I love about BIPOC authors right now who are taking very exhausted tropes that are worn the funk out, but are reviving them. And they're taking these tropes like the love triangle and this and that, you know, the fake dating, and then they're writing them through their own lens and being like amazing. And so like this book is like mad YA tropey, but it's done through a Black lens. Yeah. And we haven't necessarily seen those tropes through that way. So that's like really dope, right? But on the flip side, there were a few tropes in the book that I was just like, but maybe these tropes we could omit, like the very obvious. Come on. You know what I mean? Like the very obvious villain of the story. Like, you know what I mean? So I thought it was both its strength and its weakness that it was very tropey, you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree, because like when I was rating this book, another big reason why I didn't rate it was because I know a lot of people see 3 stars and they're like, oh, 3 stars, that's bad. Even though 3 stars for me is actually good. I didn't want another Black person to see that it was 3 stars and like, oh, my Anna didn't really like it, so I don't want to pick it up, because I think that people should still pick this book up, even though I am like still confused about my feelings, because I think it's really important. It's a really good story still. Like, no So it's like I didn't want people to see my rating and be like, oh no, this book about to be bad, or like, oh, another tropey book, and it's like, it's not another tropey book. It's another tropey book written by a Black person. So that like, if I was a book growing up, no matter how many tropes, I would have ate it up. Like,
word.
Same.
Word. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say how, like, if I had this book when I was younger and like really into YA fantasy, like I could have found my niche with the types of fantasy books that I like, and I would have literally found no issues with this book. Like I would have, like my honest, I would have ate it up. But I mean, I still loved it. I wish that it wasn't. There were like a few tropes that I was like,
See, I think like I loved it so much because it was so refreshing. Just not hating YA fantasy and just being so bored by the whole thing. Like I didn't, I the whole thing on audio, and I wasn't bored.
Yeah, the audiobook was amazing.
And the little love triangle thing happening didn't feel like your typical love triangle type scenario.
Yeah,
where like there's an obvious choice and the other person is only meant to be there as like the bad choice.
Yeah.
So it like love triangles pissed me off more than anything, but it wasn't the same as every other love triangle. So I didn't completely hate that. Very refreshing.
Someone said in the comments, did anyone else not give any fucks about the champions challenges? The only one remotely relevant was the second. Was that necessary? Was the drag necessary? Was the drag necessary? Was it kind?
Look, here's what I'm gonna say. The only challenge that was compelling was like the challenge where a story got weaved.
Yeah.
That was it. Like I couldn't, other than that one challenge, which like the Mirage, like illusionist magic was phenomenal. Like just so phenomenal. I can't tell you one challenge.
I don't remember the other one.
You know, I just remember Dele. Whooping Karina's ass for a minute in the ring, and I remember that shit because it was gay as hell. Like,
I can't try to do this with my future wife. I said, "Ooh,
yeah."
Now I did that.
Her bravado, I was like, "Ooh, it's getting hot in here." Like,
I really like that energy. Like the book had me like questioning. Like, y'all guys remember that scene where Karina was like basically saying how she didn't care if she had a wife or not? Like she was like, "Oh, I was first have a wife." I said, "Oh, when are we here? Come on, let's give us a little bit more."
Yeah,
exactly. Expand upon that.
Right.
Talk
about it. That's why I'm not 100% sure that this whole romance is endgame, because like there were several options thrown in there.
Right.
And it's like, who knows who's going to come back and who's going to be more important than we're led to believe in this first one.
You know who surprised me though as a character? I don't know if I should say, okay, how do I allude to it? The person who like started it all and we thought that they were one thing, but they actually turned out to be the other thing. I had like such a, Jesse, please.
What?
It's after an animal, Jesse.
Wait, what about an animal?
Yeah,
animal
named after an animal person.
Yeah.
That character literally like surprised me so much.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ignore Jesse, please. I'm just gonna act like they're not here because Jesse kills me. Jesse's in there like.
I was perplexed. I was like, what is she talking about? And then I remember.
Yes. So I loved their character. I didn't expect to like them so much, but whenever they were there, I was like they always just drop in tea, just like whatever. And even at the end, like they were like, Karina's like, "Oh, F that, da 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 da," and then they were like, "Oh, no, oh no." I was like, period. I love that character. I don't know what it was. I was just like, I want to see more of that.
Well, I feel like, and I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, but for me, what I loved about that particular character is like I love the trickster characters. Yes. Like any character Like y'all are familiar with like Anansi in West Africa, right? You know, any kind of trickster. It doesn't even have to be a god, but any character that exists to cause chaos. You know, and I think what was cool about that character was their presence in the story was so underplayed, and then all of a sudden, like, you find out, like, oh,
the entire time through, and it was a good trickster, like literally like a trickster nonetheless, but still had like was leaning towards the good side, even though it was still like kind of morally gray. Like the intentions were good, and I was like, oh, I love that because you're not dry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
Love that
character. Had a little lube, like
play with that character. Like,
oh God,
we could never see the character again, or that one could become so crucial to the entire plot.
Yeah,
and I don't know which one it's gonna be, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I will say and this is like, because I feel what a lot of y'all are saying. I feel both sides of the argument about the romance. How some of y'all, like Zoe, are like, yeah, it was like slowly built, like it made sense, you know. And then how others of us are like, yeah, we didn't need it. But
No, it wasn't
I think
needed. Not at all.
it definitely wasn't needed. But what confuses me about the romance was Karina's character from literally like page 1 revealed herself in no uncertain terms to enjoy her freedom, like to have no interest in being tied down, like a very kind of almost aromantic character. You know, like she enjoys sex and intimacy, but has no interest in romantic love. And so, so I guess I can't tell if it's a strategic thing, you know, for on the author's part, why she's setting up this romance, or if it's like, hey, you know, I just so happen to have gone through a lot with this character and I fell for him. But that's the only thing about the romance that throws me off, is because I was like, I was under the impression that she has no interest in romance.
Yeah.
So
people are confused in the comments, so I guess I'll just do a spoiler alert, because I mean the name itself doesn't make any sense until the end, but hyena, if y'all remember the hyena character, it literally won't make sense in the entire book until you get to the end. Like
everyone is confused.
Everyone's like, the who?
Oh,
like the O, the A.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was, give that mug an Oscar, because
I love that character. Oh, can we talk about Layla as a sister?
yes.
No, let's
Hey, go ahead. Go ahead, Layla. I mean, go ahead, Haley. Talk about Layla, please.
I was at the very beginning, I was like, I freaking love Layla. She didn't even like do that much in the beginning, but I was like, no, I love her as a character. And I don't know why I thought she was gonna die. I think it's because I was reading too much adult fantasy, so I was like, she's gonna die. I just liked her presence for some reason. Like, even though she was kind of hard on Malik, I just thought she was a cool girl, to be honest.
See,
I'm not gonna lie. Go for it.
She's I would say a stone cold bitch. And honestly, I'm into that. I wasn't upset about it. She's a see you next Tuesday, that's for sure. But like,
shut her ass up. Like, you always got something to say about something. You're doing nothing. You're reading books.
She made me mad when she was going in on Malik, when she was like, get your head in the game, like, and he's like, I've always
Troy Bolton.
He was like, I always feel like you're hard on me, and she's like, well, I'm the only one who does everything, and like I have to take care of you guys. And I'm like, you're a big sister. Get over it. Come on, let's move on.
I'm just like, Layla, that girl, the whole book, she was tap dancing on my last fucking nerve. That whole book, like she was two-stepping all over it. I was like, somebody come snatch this girl, because I can't stand her.
No,
I want to snatch her ass up. She never shut her mouth.
All
you did was read. That was it. You read. Like, we relate, but like,
when she went into Malik, I said, nah, you gotta, I've had enough.
Don't come for my boy.
When she came for my boy, I was like, oh, nah, we could
cut you.
I never even acknowledged that she did anything wrong, especially when we found out about like Malik's magic. Never even acknowledged, like, you know what, maybe you weren't crazy.
Yep, whack apology.
Especially because I feel like a lot of Malik, like in the beginning, I feel like his character kind of challenged like toxic masculinity, because he was talking about how his dad would be like, don't cry, like you need to be more of a man or whatever. And then I feel like Layla was like really hard on him. Like that part kind of pissed me off, because I was like, okay, like he's like please.
He's
But I
charming.
don't know. I like what Zoe said about Layla. I like that part of her. But
Who are you
I
barking at?
see your opinion, and I felt that way towards her for
Mhm.
some parts of the book, especially when Malik was like literally having a breakdown and she just didn't even care.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
the way I feel about her is honestly, he's gonna kill me if he hears this. The way I feel about my husband, I love him, but sometimes I just want to choke him. He's being a dumb bitch. That's how I felt about Layla.
I'm dying, Zoe. I'm dying. I just think,
said what I
okay, I said what I said. Look, I feel like if Layla's character had been, because this was a comment too, like she should have been given more page time. It would have made more sense. We would have been able to understand and empathize with her point of view if she'd gotten page time. But her whole, the whole purpose of her character was to kind of antagonize Malik and to challenge him. So for me, she didn't feel built enough. She just felt like somebody who had a lot of nerve. You know?
Mouth, but nothing else to contribute. Like, okay, are
Yes.
you
Right. You know, so yeah, so that was really annoying. But I feel like on the flip side, it did add an element of challenge to the story. You know, like it made her feel like a real character because real people are flawed and selfish and, you know, overly emotional, all those things.
Yeah, I agree. Like sisters, like bigger sisters aren't perfect, and like she has that burden of like feeling like she has to take care of them, and
Yeah.
so it just I'm like it would have been too perfect if she would have just been like, "Oh, you're right, Malik. I'm so sorry," and like like it just would have been too perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
How do we feel about Adeer? Now, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't paying too much attention when they got into all the semantics about that and like the magic system and like who had magic, who didn't. But all I got from Adeer was that homeboy was salty, very, 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 very salty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a lot now. Now this is a lot.
yeah.
So okay, so I'm gonna try and say this as least spoilery as I can.
Actually, I think that we could. It's like 30 minutes into like the live show now. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
we're already like deep into our discussion. So
Okay, cool. And I don't think it's too bad of a spoiler. It's just like
Spoilers, y'all.
I'm like wincing. I'm like, it's a spoiler, Jesse. Shut the fuck up. Okay. It's so one of my favorite tropes in all of adult fantasy, YA fantasy, whatever, is when there is a character who is carrying another character inside of them. You know, like bonding magic is, I think, so fucking cool to me. It is so fascinating. And so I did not care about Adeer and Adeer's struggle at all until there was some bonding, you know, and some tether magic. And after that, I felt like I could really empathize with Adeer's perspective, and it felt more, I don't know, palatable, I guess.
Adeer was, I mean, I know that this is just the beginning of like his story. I feel like we're really gonna get like a lot more into it as like now we have like, you know, everybody kind of knows the type of magic they have. Everybody kind of knows like their place now. You had these two very lost characters that like didn't know anything really. Like Karina knew nothing about like running the kingdom. She really didn't know anything about her country. She knew nothing really about like her mom, like nothing. And then also with Malik, like he had nothing really to know because of their family's like poverty. But like now that people know things and like we're having more interaction kind of with how the story is going to go in the future, I'm like, okay, I'm interested to see like how that's going to play out, because I really feel like it's not going to be the last of him. And remember, it was like, and my son. And I don't know if y'all thought that like, what was his name? Farid was the son or not? Because it was for like, was that what it was? Because like that's what I was a little bit confused about, because Farid has the same magic as Malik. Like they're descended from the same people, wherever that is. So I'm like, is he the son? It doesn't look like he's the son because he dismissed him like OD. So
I really
he can't be. He's too young.
He said that the son's spirit was like free after they broke the board. So it wasn't Farid, because like Farid is just like a different guy. But I did think it was Farid at first.
Yeah.
His son was dead, but he said that like after they did the little ceremony, his spirit was free. So like
people were commenting in the chat. They said that Bahia sacrificed their son. Okay.
And someone else said Farid was technically his son because they take magic from Adeer, which I don't get, but
What?
Well, apparently,
we're all confused. Like,
yeah,
I just think that Adeer started out as a very stereotypical villain. You know, like I want power, I'm salty, I've been wronged. And by the end of the novel, he had gone from that to like not only having had manipulated the characters far beyond the characters could have anticipated, and then also kind of had like a redemption arc within the span of a single book.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm. All I know is that I was next to Carter when I listened to the whole bit about what his wife did, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to say what happened, but I was like, you know what? I would have the same reaction. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I would. I understood deeply why he went so off the deep end.
Sure.
It made sense.
I imagine that,
but I get it.
Well, it's different reading fantasy when you have a child.
Yeah.
You know, like I can.
It's not like a plot device. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, nah, I made this person, so
yeah. 5 minutes, I do that. That came out of me. Okay. Oh.
Anyway, talk about Karina because I didn't really like her at all. I think Karina, like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Karina could have been done so much better, and I don't know if this is just like, building her. Like, is it? I don't know if this is just gonna be like a Children of Blood and Bone moment where, well, actually, I can't say that because in the second book, Homegirl was still a selfish asshole. That's just her personality at this point. But I'm like, is that?
I was saying she was likable in the first book. Like I liked her character. Like
I would agree with that.
Like
she got worse.
Yeah,
she was likable, but she was also very like selfish and naive and like, you know, very ignorant of the things around her. And then in the second book, she just didn't care. Now I feel like, is Karina going to do the opposite and like, is this just giving her space to develop as a character? I feel like that's probably what it was, but I definitely feel like she could have been fleshed out a lot more. But I say this all the time when I talk about even Children of Blood and Bone. Like, I love seeing angry Black girls. Mm-hmm. Like, I love that the way that her grief came out was rage. Like, she was fucking upset. Like, and I lived for it. She said, anybody's gonna get it on any given matter. I don't care about none of this. Y'all gonna take this energy. Like, I'm not about to hold this inside of me. And everybody was trying to control her. I'm like, no, she's mad. And she's angry. And like, that's valid. You know, even in the midst of like, you know, being a princess, they all had these ideas about her. And they literally was just like, yeah, she ain't shit. We'll take it from you. And she was like, no, you're not. Absolutely.
When she finally like snapped a little bit and was like, no, this is not happening. I was like, okay.
She's like, so we all finna die now? What? I said, period.
When she set that room on fire, though, she said, "Look, I don't care no more. If I die, I die." She said, "Set the whole room."
The migraine that she was having, like, I called that right from the beginning.
Yeah.
That there was something sus about those migraines.
But like, who did that?
I don't
have to do it. Like, I feel like
I have an inkling. I think I know, but I don't want to say anything just for spoiler purposes.
Well, you can spoiler. It's like we're like 30 minutes in, so
yeah, we've gone into spoilers.
Say again.
We've already like said we were going into spoilers in the chat.
Oh, was that when my computer died and I had to
maybe
when I came back because like I can't run up 10 steps without being a dumb bitch. Anyways, I digress. I think that Farid had something to do with it because of whatever he was like, the whole, I just love her so much that I'm going to annihilate everyone else to bring her back. Mm-hmm. I think something with him. And I also think it could have been her mom.
I think it was the mom. Farid was like, he did at the end was like, you really don't remember, huh?
Yeah.
He was like, no. I think it was her mom too. I think it was the mom to protect her.
Yeah.
I don't think she could have dealt with that like grief and trauma. Mm-hmm. But it's one trope that I hate, just from an emotional standpoint, but like it's a good plot device in stories of like, you know, the parent that you have the like deepest misunderstanding with just like passing away and you learning who they are the moments they die and afterwards. It's always so sad.
Yeah, I hated in the beginning. I like almost started crying when her mom died, and it was like right before when her mom found out that she thought Karina or that her mom thought that Karina thought her mom didn't love her.
Yeah,
and that like made me really upset, and I was like,
Yep.
It was
Like,
a
I
heavy
knew it was
scene.
coming. I knew it was coming, and I was cleaning the library at the time, listening to the audiobook, and I'm putting books away, and I'm like, nope. I know it's happening, but I don't want it to happen. And I fast forward, like, I don't want this to happen.
Oh no!
And
I was actually shocked because it seemed like she won. You know, like she was like having her victory dance, and then all of a sudden, homie gets stabbed in the back, and I was like,
in the back too.
but there's a lot of holes in there. Like, as we're talking about it now, I'm thinking of a lot of holes in the plot because, or maybe we just don't know it yet. Because even when what was I think about him as like fat just because of the narrator's voice when she was doing it. I think was it Wally Omar when they were doing like his point of view. When they, he was like, "Oh, it was me," blah 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 blah. I was like, he literally said that she wasn't supposed to die. So like, what was the reason of her dying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, there's
didn't it come out that like Fareed was the one who set it all up? So he had probably said to first dude, she's not supposed to die, but then went behind his back, and because like it served a bigger purpose for him. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I was just a little bit confused about that. Even with the whole Fareed actually wanting to use the spell, and even Karina not wanting to use the spell, I was like, so Karina, we did all of this for you to say no? You could have been in that bed with Malik.
But I feel like but I like that part of the book because I feel like in the beginning it's like you think her motive is to bring her mom back, but then I think in the end the entire point was for her to come to terms and like accept her mother's death and her role as future queen. Like I
didn't feel like she needed to settle with Tunde though. Like I understand that they're married, but I would have been like, listen, Tunde, it was nice to know you. Like this was lovely. You did great. Great. But
2 thumbs up.
2 5 stars. You did great, my love. Like great.
10 out of 10. Fantastic job.
Glad we got to do this again. But like
See, I didn't mind the whole like she wants to bring her mom back and then decided not to at the end. Because to me, it just really felt like what a teenager would do. Like, one track mind and then finally learning. Like if this was an adult fantasy and then it was like all of that for nothing, then I would have been like, are you stupid? You're a grown-ass woman. You have the cognitive ability to be like, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Like I hate that trope in adult fantasy, but it worked in this one for me.
Yeah.
She is a teenager, and teenagers are fucking stupid. So it's like a known fact. They're just dumb.
Oh, somebody said I thought we were gonna get some juicy angst between Malik, Tunde, and Karina. No, and I'm like,
I didn't know this was a love triangle until I started talking about a love triangle. Like Tunde was like, "Nah, me and Shorty not cool no more."
right.
Yeah.
Like that was all I got from that. And Karina was like, "Yeah." Like she was giving very "I Wish I Missed My Ex" by Mahalia. Like that's the vibe, you know.
And then she was like over here, like, who is Malik? Oh, him. Oh, I seen him before. I think like
literally like
either of them, to be honest.
That's why I said the romance was kind of like, girl, we ain't need that. Like if it was just like the scene, like just like them like having sex, that would have been like literally whatever. But the actual idea of like a relationship, this meaning something, love, I was like, girl, we ain't need that. Y'all could have did a little, something, and called it a day. Like it didn't need to be this deep. Jesse, why are you laughing?
It's funny because it's true.
Like I understand, but I feel like if we like, that's the only thing. I feel like they never even got a chance to be like enemies to lovers because they were never truly enemies because they didn't even know each other, and he didn't even know why he was supposed to hate her. He was like, "Nigga, you kill her." Like, what the fuck that got to do with me? Nothing. Like, they really took. Let's talk about Nadia. I'm like, so you really just took this random ass child? I mean, we know it wasn't random. He said that he sensed the magic between Malik, and he thought that it would work well with Karina and like whatever plan he had going on. But I was just like,
I didn't buy that.
I didn't buy that
either.
I was like,
that seems sloppy as hell.
Little old Nadia first of all, and then they low-key forgot about her.
Right.
He was crying about her and then forgot.
Over here minding his dilly darn business. I'm like, your sister.
He was like, I forgot. I was like,
oh my gosh, Nadia. Like, I miss her. Get out of here.
And I feel like the author, she did really try to sell the idea that this young man was going through enough that he could start to question his decision. Like, I feel like she really did try, but it still wasn't believable because look, you are talking about a little girl that this boy has raised his entire life. And just because he had some very powerful, but like some encounters, and he's got this mysterious pull to this princess, like especially with the class issues between them.
Yeah.
And you know, the author did try to sell the idea that they had worked through their class issues and all of that. But still, I think real world, like as people who are Black and understand, let me rephrase. I feel like as a Black person, you are uniquely aware in real world about those class issues and those barriers. And I just don't buy that at any point in time, a economically disadvantaged Black person would ever lose sight that this little girl that they had raised, that they were responsible for defending and protecting and loving, would ever be able to be less important than this young princess. From, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't buy that.
It definitely was not believable at all. I was just like,
she would have died.
She would have, Karina, baby.
On site, actually.
Period.
I mean, to be fair, he did kill her. Right? Like, he did do the thing, right?
Stabbed her in the like last 2 chapters.
Yeah. I just don't think it would have been as agonizing.
I would have them fight, no? Like, I love princesses that really know how to defend themselves and be like, I will lift up this dress, try if you want to. I live with that. So
no, because Karina this whole time has been showing like how strong she is, and then like her one moment where she messes up, she gets knifed by this boy. And I'm like, are you kidding?
A little bitch boy who did nothing the whole time. Like, we were robbed of a scene where they fought and she did the whole like, let me cut this dress so I can move a little more freely type scene, and it's like,
yeah, and then they're fighting on the floor and she ends up on top and then their faces are really close. Oh, give me 8.
Yeah, you go write it up.
Oh yeah.
See, I think a lot of it is this is her debut, right? I think it's just the first book. Like, if this wasn't a debut, I think a lot of these issues might have been worked through a little bit better. And I feel like the romance choice, like to put it in there even the way it was something that, like, people were saying it wasn't in the first couple drafts. I have a strong feeling that an agent or an editor or something was like, it needs it. It's young adult. We need a little romance for the girls. But like, no, I don't.
Honey.
Second book is giving me very enemies to lovers. And I love that. Like,
the way it ended,
and I'm like, period.
The way it ended, they are firmly on the opposite side. And she's like, I know things that you don't know, which is shit that I love. And it's like, he doesn't know exactly what he's getting into.
No.
So he's going to find out the hard way, and maybe he won't be such a little bitch at the end. Like, I hope he's still got like that cinnamon roll-y aspect to him, but not such a little bitch. Like, remembers that his sister is something that's really important to him.
Yeah. You know what I can say? Like, my favorite Malik scene and probably my favorite moment of the entire story as somebody that has like crippling, annoying ass anxiety was when he like trapped Adeer and homeboy was just sitting in that lemon tree and he was like, you have no power over me, like in my mind. Like, this is all I have to put up with. And like when he was watching, literally like using his anxiety as a weapon, I was like, he was like, I'm gonna sit back and just like,
that was amazing.
He was like,
weaponized anxiety.
Cool. Like, you're not going to play me. Like, this is what I have to live with, like, every second of every day. Like, and even when Adeer was in his head and he was like, I'm used to hearing demons. I said, period. That was not mine for me. I said, yes.
Yeah.
I love that moment.
I love psychological battles and like psycho-spiritual battles. That's one of my favorite tropes.
I'm reading the comments and somebody said, well, a few people said that apparently Karina was supposed to have a hot soldier love interest, and then someone said that she's supposed to have a romance with her guard who isn't even in the book anymore. And now I'm like mad because we could have gotten that.
I need to
trying to figure out how that would have even like fit into the story.
I just still feel like she's Ace. like I just don't see her as
interest.
I just see her as at this point in her life, at the very least, she's like a sexual individual who really is not thinking about romance. That was like that's how I felt about her.
I do agree. I just want God romances all the time, but like I don't think that romance in this book actually does fit. Like it just this book doesn't really need romance at all.
No.
Maybe the next book, but not this one.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah,
Somebody said like, it's not like a prequel. I agree. It did feel a lot like a prequel. I don't hate it, but I get it.
Yeah.
Like, and I found with like debut fantasy young adult authors, that was really out of order. That just seems like to be the trend. Like the first book is just all setup.
Yeah.
And like, it was a really good debut. All things considered.
I agree.
There's been much worse out there.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot that, like we said, a lot of plot holes, a lot of things that were just too convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really think the whole like he didn't want to kill her, and like even at the expense of his sister's life, I feel like she was trying to push that towards like it's his anxiety and this is just him as a person, but at the same time that's your baby sister.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that could have been gone a different way.
Yeah. Cause like he did try to kill her like the first time he like, they met, or like he tried, not the first time they met, but he did try to kill her before. And it's like, it wouldn't have been like no trying. When it comes to my siblings, it would have happened. Like it would have gotten done. Like,
he had so many chances, and even the fact that I wanted more angst. I see a lot of people in the comments talking about like there was a lack of angst, even in regards to like Adeer having Nadia already. Like send that nigga back a pinky toe. I don't know. Like even when he went to go see her, like have her look a little skinny little baby. Like
not dismembering children.
I'm not saying do, but I'm just, if you're gonna be an evil demon killing your own ancestors, your own lineage, like give it to me. This random ass little girl you picked up on the street, she like, come on now.
You're right. He would have been like, okay, yeah, there's things I need to get done. Because he sees,
like, you know what, Karina? It's a knife to the throat. Like, come on.
Right. He seen he was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna just keep seeing what Karina about. If he would have just sent her back to like a little something, he would be like, oh hell no, let me get this done.
What are you gonna say,
Oh no, I was gonna say because I feel like it made so much sense to have a scene like that, because the whole time Malik was thinking, oh my god, my baby sister, she's probably like starving, she's probably in so much pain. And I'm like, if we saw that,
this is fine. She's like, Malik.
Right. I don't mean like actual sin a limb. Like just let him know that she's not okay and he needs to get this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I had the same thought. Huh?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say it took a lot away from Adeer as like an actual villain. Because it's like you're supposed to be the like most evil dude in the entire world and everybody hates you. Like you don't even have a name anymore. But you're just letting this little girl run free? Like
they cross out your face out of history.
Yes. You ain't got no face. You let her keep hers? What?
Name faceless kid. And you sitting there with this little girl, she playing hopscotch with the damn ghost. Like I just
braiding your hair. God damn.
She's doing her edges, waiting for Malik to pick her up. This is not daycare. Please.
Like, and I wanted Malik to have more of like the Selena Sardathian, I will ruin myself for the people I love kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Like, that's a baby girl. I don't even have a little sister. And I'm like, I will kill a bitch for this girl.
Yeah.
Like, imagine what it's like to have little siblings and read this and be like, are you kidding me? You would murder everybody you see, right? To save this girl.
Yeah,
and she's so pure, like she's just a little baby. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I too had the same thought. Like I was waiting for the page where some body part from this child was gonna get sent to him.
What
I
about
was waiting for that.
I don't want to dismember children. What about her hair? An edge? A piece of her edges.
An edge, just a curl,
a little,
like
one braid.
Come on,
tooth, like anything. You know,
literally anything.
I think I personally excused a lot of Malik's actions because I personally loathed Karina so deeply that Malik, by comparison, was a fucking angel. Okay, like everything this girl did just sent me over the edge. It was like, again, she and Layla tap dancing on my last night, like the whole thing. I couldn't stand her. And so like a lot of Malik's motivations made sense, even though he was quite a bit less firm than I would have been if my baby sister had been kidnapped by a demon, you know. But I excuse it because I found him to be so much more of a well-built character than Karina. Karina just felt like all id to me. Like there was no strategy to her. There was no planning. There was and I'm like, I'm here for like what you were saying earlier to hear about like, I'm here for raw, hurting, grieving, angry, vicious Black girls. But I just felt like Karina was so only like, she rarely ever thought about her kingdom and how like her actions would impact her kingdom. Like with when she was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill the Sun champion dude, whatever his name was. She was like, yeah, I'll kill him. And at no point during her her machinations about killing him did she think, okay, well, what are the political repercussions of me killing this very powerful boy on my people? Versus when Malik, there was a moment where he was like, what are the repercussions of me killing this girl on this people? Like what would happen to the society? And I was like, you're not even royalty and you are already thinking about the implications of your actions on citizens. And Karina just never did that.
Her plan was trash anyway. Like the idea, like, you know what? I'm gonna kill them, make them think he tried to kill me, and I'm fine. Who?
See, I think a lot of that is like he's like in some ways mature beyond his years because of his anxiety and depression. And it's like she dealt with that in her own way, but not to the same level as him. And she was always like, oh, my sister is going to be the one to rule, not me. Well, bitch, your sister's been dead for a long time.
Her self-esteem issues up. Like she literally was like, I'm bringing back my mom. Like she never gave herself a chance. She said, I'm bringing back my mom because I cannot do this. And I want her to hone in on that. Like Karina literally like internalized all of the ideas that even like how the court felt about her, the energy she was getting from her mom and the fact that she had this like perfect older sister. She literally was like, I'm not an option. She never gave herself a chance to be an option. And I was like, Karina, girl, you just need some little confidence. Like she was like, nah. She really was like, you know what? I read this page in the book. Yeah, I'm gonna bring my mama back. I can't do this. I don't got time for this.
Didn't even read the whole book. Just that. What if there's a warning on the next page?
Sis said I memorized that part, the whole thing. Ain't read the rest of it. I said, Karina,
oh, the fine print. Didn't read that. Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, even the presence of that book was so convenient. Like her mom dies, and then 2 days later, she finds the Book of the Dead,
and it's gone.
Yeah.
And like the whole plot didn't make sense to me from the beginning because I was like, it's been made quite clear that multiple people within the royal guard are aware that the queen is dead. So your plan is to resurrect a zombie and expect that everyone who's against blood magic and dark magic is going to be fine.
Remember that magic exists in the court. Remember that. And even the fact that Fareed had all these guards bring in Hanan's corpse and she just came up and stood up. What the hell?
Someone says, your mom comes back and still be the heir, Karina? You bitch? Like, yes. It's going to happen eventually for you. Like, my mom just pushed into it now. The fuck?
They're supposed to, they're going to be like, yeah, the corpse bride is our sultana now. Like, what? Like, it didn't make any sense to me.
Didn't you say something like, I know it's a bad idea? Well, bitch, come up with a better idea. She's been dead for 2 days. Calm down.
Literally didn't even try. But even, but when they saved Karina, I lived. I was like, yeah. Because I definitely thought that like the women on the council were going to be the ones that were guilty. They were just giving a lot of energy, and I was like, ooh, that right there, she's gonna be the one. But then when they came and saved her, I was like, yes. And I love the little girl. What's her name? Little girl with magic.
What?
Oh, I love her.
I love her. She's my favorite.
She gives Alice in Wonderland vibes. I don't know, like her character's just so like cute, and she's just so matter of factly about everything.
Yeah,
I want her and little sister to become friends.
Little friends, just little buddies.
Yeah,
I like Tafua.
I'm sorry, I'm like throwing things out there because I'm just thinking like nobody even mentioned, like Malik didn't mention Nadia at all. Even when things got caught, like I'm so sorry, like they have my sister. It was no mention.
He forgot about her.
He couldn't mention it. Remember, he made that deal where he was like, you can't tell anybody about this. Like,
but even after he stabbed her and Adeer popped up,
that's true.
Because you would think that if he had told her, she would think of Afua and be like, you know what? I understand a little bit because here's this girl that's kind of like your sister, and then maybe there would have been like a little bit of understanding. But no, nobody communicates because teenagers, and because apparently we don't teach teenagers how to communicate any fucking more, which is stupid. Anyways, no, Karina pulled a Mia Thermopolis and was like, I don't want to be a princess. And it's like, well, bitch, you're the only one who can be the princess.
It's your boo-boo. So.
Like, literally, your society will fall apart if you do not continue your line. Like, you got a lot riding on your shoulders. I don't give a fuck if you want to or not. Like, you're not the most important person here.
But, like, even if... I don't know. I mean, like, I understand what you're saying, but also it's like, if she doesn't want to do it, like, would that even, like, would her becoming queen even be worth it if she, like, didn't want to be queen? Right. If she didn't care about these people, like, she wouldn't be a good queen.
Right. She would.
Princess Diary. She could learn.
But, like, there's no path there. Like, if she literally doesn't care, like, she was willing to not be queen, like, to run away. She doesn't care about the people. Then, like, even if she learned how, like, I don't think that it would have been good. I don't know. I think, yeah.
That's a good point. I see that.
As a child, she was not hit with the belt or the wooden spoon enough.
I feel like I've seen that trope done really well of like that character that never wanted power, that had that older sibling that passed or wasn't available for whatever reason. And even though I know that like she would need to want it, if you remember, like she kept having strong feelings about these raids. Like that was her only bit of like feeling about her kingdom. She was like the raids and like, what did you locked up Afua's people? They even locked up one of the people on the council, locked up her whole like tribe. And she was like, what the hell? Like this is wrong. And even her like deciding, like trying to figure out what like king that she wanted to pick so that she could kill and not kill somebody. Like even her saying, what was that guy from the Sun people? She was like, he wouldn't make a good king because he's aggressive, he's angry, blah, blah, blah. There was a sense of her that did kind of care. Even her saying, I have to preserve the magic of the city. And I'm just like, I feel like we could have seen more of that if she just stepped out of her own way and was like, you know what? I have to. At the end of the day, you're a monarch. Your feelings literally don't matter. Not more than your kingdom. And so I did see some comments like there's a big disconnect between her and the whole city.
Like, especially after her mom had told her, like, this is why you can't leave. It's not like she was still believing that she could leave whenever she wanted to. Like, she had known at this point. And like, I wish we had seen more of her realizing just how bad things are. Like, leading up. I'm hoping that we'll see more in the next book. But somebody said, the author said that if this book was like, if Aladdin and Jasmine had to kill each other. And no, I did not get Aladdin or Jasmine vibes from either of them. Maybe like gender swapped Aladdin and Jasmine a little bit, like, but not really.
No.
But
I'm trying to think. So gender swaps would be Jasmine is the street urchin.
Right.
So Malik would be the street urchin.
But like personality, gender swapping almost.
I'm not smart enough for this. What's going on?
I thought Aladdin was kind of soft too, though.
I don't know either.
Aladdin was soft, and the difference is Jasmine. Like, I mean, Jasmine was kind of like a bit. I feel like Jasmine cared about her city, though.
Yeah, she cared about her people.
Yeah, and like her father and all of that.
I could see where it served an inspiration because there's like this poor boy, and then there's this princess, but that's it.
Yeah,
I need to rewatch that movie, and then I'll reassess. It's been like at least 2 decades since I've seen it.
Mm.
That's fair.
Oh wow, it's literally almost been an hour. Does anybody have any final thoughts or questions in the comments? And has any? I asked this at the end of last show, but has anybody's ratings changed after the discussion?
Dang, hold on. Hannah said Jasmine was smart where Karina wasn't.
Not the drag. Oh, stop.
The drag was necessary, but it was not kind. Okay.
Woo! The tea, honey. With
I feel like my rating stayed the same. I'm still giving it a 4-star. Probably like 3.75 if I really want to like round it out like that. Don't make that face, Mayana. Anyway, I'm giving it like a 4-star. But I am super excited for the second book. I'm someone very much like you said, Zoe. I know that first books, especially in fantasy series, not even just as like a duology, a series. First book is just set up.
Oh, there are people asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think I put the wrong question up.
So there's quite a few questions actually. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, let's do this.
Favorite scene.
Okay, so my favorite scene is actually the scene where Tunde looks at Malik's arms and he like sees that Malik has been so harming. And I don't know, I just love like that. He's like, oh, everyone thinks that we're supposed to be like against each other, but actually I don't really feel like doing that right now. So that was my favorite scene.
And then it's also a real like therapy like technique.
Yeah.
Which is, like, shows that the author like knew what she was talking about and did like research.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I said my favorite scene already. I was at like the end where Malik's anxiety was the thing that like he used to fight against Adeer. I love that scene.
Yeah, that was also my favorite scene.
I'm going through my notes, so
mine was either what we were saying earlier about the story weaving, or
the second challenge,
or the fight between Karina and what's her face. There was there was a lot of gay energy there, and I wish that we had pulled more from that
for sure.
But like the story weaving second challenge, I was folding my laundry and I had to stop so I could listen fully because I was like, damn, do I see hyena running by me right now? Like, that's good shit.
That story was the lore and the stories within the story was a huge part of the reason why even though I have so much criticism for the book, a huge part of why I rated it 4.5 stars, because it was like swimming in a sea of stories that you could taste. You know what I mean? Like
that was said so quickly. Like,
yeah, that was great. You know, like I felt like I was being transported and taken elsewhere. And I also felt like these are stories where I could see someone grew up with them as myths and legends. You know what I mean?
Rich. The world was like really, 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 really rich. And really, I can say that there weren't really like any plot holes in like the myth, the lore, the magic. I didn't really feel any of that, which is amazing.
I agree with them.
More into that in the next books. Like I love the history and I love anything that has to do with gods or like history repeating itself. Like fuck me up. Yeah.
Favorite characters.
Not Karina.
not Karina. Mine was hyena.
Same.
Mine was Afua.
Mine was Malik.
I'm gonna go with Malik also. Just cunning, smart, empathic, like all the things.
These are all right answers.
Except for a myth that wouldn't kill someone for his sister. That's fine.
What do you think about the sister coming back? If you don't leave the corpse bride in her grave, we don't have time for this.
I'm so excited. I want to see like the consequences of what's gonna happen because they're like she's like a zombie, and I was like, I want to see her like wreak havoc on the city. Like I would like to
have emotion.
I would absolutely love to see it be like, because everyone knows that you just can't bring people back to life. But that's no matter if there's spells around it, there's always consequences. So I can't wait to see how that backfires, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm wondering if she's gonna take over and become queen and then really fuck shit up.
Well, how's she gonna become queen if she dead?
Say again?
How's she gonna become queen if she dead? Like everyone knows she was dead.
Yeah.
And we all watched her come back and was like, who that? Why she wasn't you in that box? Like,
right.
It's YA, no one's gonna care.
At the same time, the whole council was just full of dumb bitches. So I feel like they could easily be swayed to believe that she is like okay and herself.
Well, also, doesn't everyone know that like magic is back now? So couldn't they just say like, oh, they brought her back? And like, obviously, people would probably be like scared, but I feel like that would be a reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
Here's a real question: was the bitch decomposing?
Like,
They threw her into the fire, so her body burned, and then it like came back. I guess.
Okay, because it all happened so fast that I was like,
the corpse from? It's 10 years. You dug her up. Where did you keep her?
like, is she like a corpse bride with shit missing, or is she like fully formed again, got her luscious locks and shit? Like, I need to know.
Can you imagine, like, legit? Can you imagine being dead? You're in heaven. You've got like 12 girlfriends or whatever it is that your idea of heaven is. And then all of a sudden you were brought back into your old decrepit body with like all of the drama.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
You
Mm-mm.
You send me right back where I was. Like, you put me
Where
back.
the edges laid when she was brought back. That's the real question.
Someone said maybe they'll say the gods brought her back as a miracle and there will be a cult.
That could happen. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we're already doing this anyway. Theories for where the story's going. I think it's definitely giving you very much enemies to lovers. And like, I feel like there's going to be Karina being like, Malik, get the hell out of my face. And Malik was like, no, but Karina, let me explain. She's like, nah, leave me alone. And then they're forced to work together because they need to do something. Oh, no, well, not something, because Nadia is still with Adeer. So, I believe.
No,
she came back at the end.
yeah.
I
She's got all her limbs.
No, that's boring.
For now.
I don't have no theories.
It was really anticlimactic, to be honest.
Her whole thing getting taken, like, and just brought back, not a hair harmed on her head, like
he was feeding her and everything, you know, like
she just wanted to be with her brother.
I don't know, maybe he just felt bad because like his whole point was that he lost his child, so maybe he didn't want to hurt another small child. I don't know.
The small child. So like, I don't know what's going on here.
I feel like he's not the type to care about anyone other than something that came from him.
That's what I would think too.
For sure.
At least that's what I would be if I were a villain. I wouldn't care about nobody else's babies but mine. You know, and if my baby was dead, it's over. I don't care.
Yeah, literally just that one child. He don't even care about Karina, his descendant. He don't care.
No.
Mm-mm. Someone said, LOL, do demons provide snacks normally? Rachel.
Yes,
no.
the dark side has chocolate and cookies.
Yeah. So Gabriella the book says theories for where the story's going. And I have a little theory.
Go ahead, we want to hear.
I think that the story is going to is setting up for a confrontation between Karina and her sister, whose name I can't remember.
Hanan.
Hanan. Yeah, I think that they are going to be like fighting for power over the kingdom. And I also think that the containing of Adeer in Malik's body is like going to become like something that gets weaponized.
Yeah.
You know, those are just my theories.
I'm just curious to see how long the sister's going to be around. Like, if she's going to be taken out right away, or if they are going to lean into it and be like, here's a battle between the sisters.
Yeah.
Next question. Somebody said their rating went up to a 4.5. Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Somebody said they're dropping theirs by 0.75. Okay.
Not dropping.
Dang.
I think I'm gonna rate it 4 stars. 3.5 to 4 stars.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for the next one. I honestly I still feel like this is a really strong book. I felt like she set up so many things and gave us so much lore in mythology, and I thought it was great, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. I think honestly the weakest part of the story for me was Karina's character just being not compelling at all, and some of the convenience issues.
I'm trying to see if we have any more questions. Who did you think was going to become the champion? I didn't know. She kept on, Karina had all these ideas about who was going to win and had a whole plan based off of that, and was trying to convince the other two not to win. And Tunde literally was didn't care until the last second. Yeah. So it was just I feel like that was such a side plot. The whole Sostasia thing. I was just okay.
I was low-key hoping that when Tunde was like, you know, let's team up, that he was just going to turn on everyone. Because I'm like, we can't have this many soft characters in a row. Like, not in this economy. Are you kidding me? Like,
especially if the stakes are king, like y'all are a little bit too nice to each other.
I know, right? And he's like, no, I used to love her, but she didn't love me back. Like, I didn't think that he was just going to let it go like that and be like, boo, if you win, I'm happy for you. I will be the man at the wedding. You know, like, I'll help you pick out your tux. Like, no.
Oh my God. I literally have a highlight in here about a line where Tunde is being super chill because she doesn't love him. And I'm like, but it's a whole kingdom. It's the king. Who cares about love? It's a kingdom. I'm trying to find it.
Hannah says, when anyone else surprised by the small, I love when Muslim people put Muslim and Islamic together. It's the funniest thing ever because it's really not a word. But the Islamic Arab vibes the book had, or am I completely uneducated about West African mythology and lore? It definitely had Islamic vibes. Like even Hanan's name and Malik's name are traditional like Arabic names. But I think that if you think about like the language of Swahili and even like with East Africa in regards to like Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, and like just the connection between like African people and Arab people. It's not really that like surprising. Like I said, Swahili is a whole language that developed because Arabs and Black people needed to trade with each other. So no, it wasn't that crazy, but I think I can say that even in the there was like certain quotes that definitely for me, I was like, this sounds like this. I was like, this sounds like something that I've heard in like my Sunday schools going to the mosque or something. There was parts of it that felt very like describing the lore and the relationship to the gods. Even the whole prayer thing, like prayer mats were just like very, 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 very like Muslim to me. So I definitely got that vibe. Like y'all know.
Well, I've read it's actually an East African fantasy too. I don't know if y'all have seen that. But it's not supposed to be West African. It's supposed to be East African.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel that.
I'm trying to remember where I read that, but
will you guys pick up the sequel? Are you excited about it? I definitely would.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
I'm a little bit of a boat where I cannot not finish a series because I'm a nosy bitch and I need to know how it ends. And I need to know if the things get answered.
I hear that.
Think about it becoming a TV show.
I'm excited.
Wait, is it really a TV show, or was that like just an idea?
No, it got picked up.
Yeah,
isn't it going to be on ABC?
Everything's getting picked up.
Watch they cast all white people.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
They're going to open casting up to white people.
Scarlett Johansson is going to
and I'm going to riot.
Honestly, I could see this being like Black Panther, where everyone was mad that there wasn't any like lighter skinned Black people. I could see that happening again with this.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, that's the real question. Like, if I watch this show, I don't want to see anybody anywhere near my skin tone on that fucking screen. No, thank you.
Like, I'm done with you.
Ismahan, you're definitely correct. Hyena definitely did. Yes, that was a whole Quran quote. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not bugging. I was like, what she said? I love that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm so excited.
I think we wrapped up all these questions.
I'm excited to see what the magic is going to look like in the TV show and like how they're going to do the second competition. If it's just going to be like, if it's actually going to weave story into people watching it, or if it's just going to be like a fully different scene, like without the audience there at all.
Right.
In the book, as he's weaving the story, like the audience is mentioned and Karina is mentioned, and it's like they're talking like these characters are going around the actual people. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna do that and what they're gonna change. If they're gonna stay true to the story or what they're gonna change, because they always change something.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our second Black Hotties live show. Don't forget to pick up our next book, which is When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole.
It's so good. It's so good.
October. We are so excited. Make sure you are liking and following our Instagram, our Twitter, and make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Follow us all on our individual channels. And
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, we also.
Go ahead.
Oh, we also want to say that we want to start trying to bring in other Black creators in our live streams. So be sure to check out our Twitter because I will be sending out a tweet for other Black booktubers to join us.
Word.
Yes.
Word.
And it's open to anyone. Like you literally don't even have to be a booktuber.
Yeah.
Like literally just anyone. So when the tweet goes out on our Twitter, just respond and we'll pick someone. And we want to do this for every live show. So it's not just like, oh, this next one. For every live show, we would love to have a guest.
Okay.
Thank you guys. This is so much fun.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.